Queensland versus Victoria. Two states, two realities. Queensland, they toughened up. Late 2024, they introduced strict new laws to crack down on youth crime. No more detention as a last resort. Violent teens can now be sentenced as adults. The result? Youth crime is down 32% in just a few months.
Yes, down 32%. That's far from the truth. In fact, the United Nations themselves have condemned the adult crime laws because they actually are proven to not work. Do you know what happens when you arrest more youth? They become lifelong criminals because putting youth with actual criminals and adults in detention is not only a violation of human rights, but it teaches them to become worse. That is what the studies have shown. Did you know it nearly costs $670,000 a year to lock up one teenager in Queensland? On average night in 2024, there were 317 young people in detention. That's over $212 million every year just to keep children behind bars as young as 10. With that money, Queensland could fund the very pay rises teachers, nurses, and police are striking for, solve the housing crisis. Instead, it's wasted on cages for kids. And here's the kicker. We're in a housing crisis, and this government is busy housing criminals instead of hard-working Australians. If you dump bad people altogether, studies, as well as history, has proven they're more likely to become repeat offenders. This is just common sense. Put a kid in a room full of good people, what do you think is going to happen? The UN has criticized these laws, saying detention for children should always be a last resort. Sure, blitz policing makes the numbers dip for a few months, but long-term, those kids come out angrier, harder, smarter because they've learned new techniques from adults, and more dangerous. You didn't fix the problem. You just paid $670,000 per child to make it worse. So what the studies actually recommend to solve this is called restorative justice. Instead of dumping kids in cells, they're made to sit face to face with the people they hurt. They hear directly from the victims, they see the damage they caused, and they're forced to take responsibility. Imagine if they had to go do the work of the person that they just killed. The data shows it works. Reoffending drops sharply when kids are forced to do things like repair the harm community service instead of being trained up to be worse criminals in detention, where they can hang around like-minded individuals. So the next time someone says crime's down 32%, adult crime is really working, ask them at what cost. If you don't want your taxes wasted on $212 million a year for youth detention, while teachers, nurses, and cops strike for fair wages and safer workplaces, then share this far and wide. Because if you actually care about the cost of living crisis, demand that money go back into schools, hospitals, housing. This is just common sense.